All right, bringing you up to date with some news right now. Now, according to a report published by the Centre for Development and Enterprises, approximately 10.3 million South Africans are actively looking for jobs but can't find any. And this is a very shocking statistic indeed. And now we also recently learned that out of over 30,000 jobs offered by the city of Cape Town, the city is currently struggling to fill some vacancies. And I say some vacancies because context is very, very important to understand here. And joining us to talk about this situation is the city's Director of Human Resources, Lele Sithole. If there's anybody to be speaking to about this, it is you, ma'am. A very good morning, and thanks for joining us so early.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting us. We are so glad to be here.
Is this your usual rising time?
Yeah, actually, I wake up at about 4:30.
Wow. You should come work here.
I should join you guys. I should.
So let's talk about this, because I was sitting in my car driving back home when I heard this report on a very popular radio station that said that the city of Cape Town was struggling to fill 3,000 vacancies, which with the over 30,000 people you seek to employ is about a 10% margin.
Yeah.
And you were telling me earlier on that context is very, very important. So let's build out the story properly and talk to what the truth is here.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So Cape Town is one of the biggest employers in the city of Cape Town. We employ just about 33,000 employees, and vacancies are sitting at about 3,000 currently, which is about a single digit. It's about 9.7. Okay. Now, if you compare that with other municipal environments, they're sitting at double digits. You know, I think the least that I know is sitting at about 14%. You know, which is a high figure, and they've got lower employee figures than we do. So 9.7 is a good figure. And I mean, the 3,000, it's a rolling figure, you know, it's not a stat, and it's not an old figure as well. I mean, the city thrives. If you look at a city, you must look at it as like a multinational. It's got multi-industries within it. You've got the water sector, you've got the energy sector. We're going into alternative energies right now. So we're growing that market, you know. So when you go into that part of space, when you're talking about alternative energy, there isn't readily available skill that you can find. So that's the percentage that we're talking about, that we're seeking to struggle with. The city also recently rolled out their agile strategy called Transformation Development Plan. And within that, we're building new competencies in the city, because we evolve with the needs of the resident. You know, skills around resilience, that's a new term. You know, cities must thrive and be resilient. You know, project management has become quite big for us. I mean, we've got a huge capex that we need to fund. There's huge infrastructure projects that we're running. So project management in municipal environments particularly, not necessarily everywhere and anywhere. I know the City of London has dabbled a bit about a particular way of doing project management in municipal environments, and we're looking to follow that same route in the city of Cape Town. You know, the skills that we're building around collaboration in a particular way in municipalities. I mean, you'll understand in government, for a long time, we've been talking about intergovernmental relations. Okay. Now, we also want to say, within this multinational, how do we build collaboration? How do we get to those things where we work together? Because it's a huge project, and there's a lot of money invested in these things. So the city is agile, and as it continues to change, new competencies, new skills come on board. We go into new spaces, we innovate, so new things come through, and you don't have that skill readily available. Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking about trying to build a city for the future right now, which needs, as you said, new skills, innovative people with perhaps scarce skills that are not readily available right now. So if you were to set those out and I'm a potentially employable individual, what kind of skills should I be looking to take on board in order to be eligible for some of these vacancies that are there, in order to help the city to grow?
I think primarily the city is a service provider, you know, and we're a service provider by constitution, okay? So obviously, client relation skills for us are quite critical. So as a core competence, anybody who joins the city of Cape Town, there's a certain standard around client relations that you must meet. And our client is different. Our client is not necessarily the one that says, I just want a product, I'm happy and I go away with it. Our client is the one that is vested in the service that we give. So they have a say about it. That's why we've got public participation, because they say what kind of service they want. You know, and I indicated originally also that there's issues around project management. The kind of methodology we're deploying around doing our work now, so that people don't say, I work for Masipala. No, that thing is gone now. You know, we deploy a project management approach to how we deliver services. So you know that there's an outcome expected in a particular time with a particular service standard. So those are core competencies that are required for a person that'll join, amongst others. But I mean, as I said to you earlier on, in the engineering space, you know, we've got particular ones that we're struggling with at this point in time. You know, issues around environmental, nature conservation. In those areas around mechanical, we're still building. Around civil, we're still building. Quantity surveying. That is why we have a program that we're running now. It's called ISDG, Infrastructure Development Grant Engineering Program, where what we do is we work with universities to get these young ones in, and then when we get them in, we put them in a program for about 3 years, and then we take them into all the different directorates or departments or sections of the municipality and build that capability. So we're not purely dependent on the market for skill, because when you go to the market and you're dependent and it's scarce, it comes in expensive because you're all fighting for that skill. So we've decided the approach that we want to deploy in the city of Cape Town is to nurture and start the program from the beginning. So the core competencies are important, but there's those other ones then that are related to what we deliver, and that's required.
And then finally, is there a way in which potentially employable individuals could contact you or find out more about where these core competencies are needed, how they can upskill themselves, and then hopefully easily slot into these programs that you have going on? Just information so that we can get this process activated.
Happily so. So we are on LinkedIn, we're live, so they must just go in there, throw Cape Town, City of Cape Town, they'll find us there, we're fairly active. And on our intranet, on our website, we've got a lot of information around how the youth can access us. I mean, we run a lot of programs on youth development. I think we spend about 6.3 million generally yearly just giving out bursaries. We call it extended financial support to young ones to come and join us. And we align that to our skills so that, again, we build that pool. You know, we run a lot of graduate programs, you know, in the areas of ICT, in the areas of legal, in those kind of things, you know. So when they go on our website, there's a lot of information. However, also, I mean, the community should feel free to go to the sub-councils. There's a lot of information to the sub-councillors. Their councillors also would have that. And our training department, I think about twice a year, we run a seminar, you know, one externally, one internally, where we invite the community to interact with us, and we tell them what opportunities are there in the city as a municipal jurisdiction and also as an employer. So we're not only preparing the skills for the future for the city of Cape Town as an entity only, but as a commercial entity around the city of Cape Town.
All right. Well, this is a conversation that we could have for hours, and one which I would love to continue with you off camera as well. But thank you for making the time to join us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Delesi Tole, Director of Human Resources at City of Cape Town. As you can see, there are means and ways in which you can become part of the solution where there is a problem, as we all seek to build not just a better city of Cape Town, but a better South Africa at the end of the day. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side.